So I'm speaking with Jeff DeWit, and why don't you tell what event you were at and what your role was tonight?
Well, I was honored to be the keynote speaker here for the Prescott Republicans, and it's actually I've spoken up here quite a bunch, and I love it. It's such a great group. They're very cohesive. They're very positive, and one of the strongest really parts of Arizona, one of the strongest counties we have, Yavapai, and one of the strongest groups we have. Republican women of Prescott. This was a different group, but it's the biggest group in the country, and so it's such a red part of the state, and just some of the best, hardest working Americans in Arizona that we have. I love coming here, and it's why we brought Donald Trump here during the campaign, which, and I'm not mistaken, I don't know how many other presidents have campaigned here. Have we had any, Lynn?
I think Bush came before he was president.
Bush did?
Bush, yeah.
Okay.
But
W?
Yeah, Bush too.
Bush too?
Yeah.
But I know it seems to be somewhat rare, which I find shocking. It's such a great part of the state. I love coming here.
And of course, John McCain came when he ran for president too.
That's true too.
He came the night before. So, but the rally and stuff in Prescott Valley, that was huge, and probably one of your best turnouts to that point, I would think, especially for, the number of people showed up was half the population of Prescott Valley, pretty much. So
I know,
cool.
This was a great turnout. We did this once, a year and a half ago, I think I was here, and there was a whole less row of tables. This was as packed as you could get it.
Yeah.
Such a neat, I love it. Honestly, it's such a great crowd. It really is.
So, you're treasurer right now, and you have 2 more years on your term?
2 more years, just under. Okay, 1 year, 10 months and a week, we'll say.
So, first of all, are you going to run again?
I wish I could tell you what the future holds. I honestly don't know. And there's so many decisions that we have to make as a family, and there are, it's I guess it's a great position to be in where there are a lot of opportunities available. And we need to sit down as a family and figure it out. But I love serving the state as a treasurer. There are a lot of other things that have obviously we're getting pulled in a lot of directions, and there's some tough decisions to be made. But whatever I end up doing, I hope I'm still honored to serve Arizona and America and make America great again.
So let's talk about your relationship with Donald Trump. You were COO of his campaign, and you had a lot of other roles too. So you know him probably better than anybody else in this room. What if you wanted the American people to know one thing about him, or even 2?
Yeah.
What would that be?
The number one thing, and I think everyone's figuring this out, is that he really is a hard worker and he cares. Donald Trump doesn't rest until he knows that he's getting the job done. And that's why he's successful in business, and it's why he's now very successful not only as a candidate, but as a president. And I think Washington's really not ready for the work ethic that he brings there. And I got to know him very well and worked with him very closely. He's the real deal. He really is. He's a very, very hard worker, and he really cares. And he cares that he's doing a great job for America. This is not something he's doing to build his net worth from $8 billion to $9 billion, or whatever the number is. This is him giving back, and this is something where he's serving our country. And I'll tell you, from knowing him as well as I do, I'm very impressed and very excited that he's our president.
It seems to me like people in the country, or at least in the political circles, a lot of them are shocked that he made campaign promises and he's following through on them.
He's keeping them. Well, we're used to politicians that don't do that, right? How many politicians do we have that get up in front and they say all these great things, and the day after they're elected, they go out the window? And yes, people are shocked that Donald Trump is a man of his word and is delivering on his promises. I don't know why they're shocked by that. He's done that his entire career. He's proven himself. What really we should be shocked is that we keep electing the politicians that don't keep their word. That's what boggles my mind. I think the stat is Congress has a 7% approval rating, but we re-elect 95% of Congress people. And so why do we keep re-electing the same people that do nothing? We need more Donald Trumps. We need more business people that know how to get things done and send them to Washington. And I think Donald Trump, hopefully, is the start of a big wave of more business people running for office, getting elected, and fixing things.
one of the promises he made, of course, is to repeal and replace Obamacare. Is that still on his agenda?
That is absolutely on the agenda. Really, the only holdup is Congress is not moving quickly enough. The Senate is moving very slowly to confirm the picks. Think about this. We're 5 weeks into his presidency, and he's done more than some presidents have done in a career or in years. And so it will get done. Tax reform will get done. All these things will get done. It's really we just need Congress to get on board with the pace that he works at.
And tonight at the event, you did express some frustration with how some of the Arizona members, delegation, have been responding, but Jeff Flake has been very supportive of his Supreme Court pick, Judge Gorsuch. And how confident is the Trump campaign? I don't know how much of this you know because I don't know how intimate, but how confident are they that he'll be confirmed?
Oh, I think there's high confidence that Justice Gorsuch will get confirmed. And it's just a matter of time. I think the American people. What I hear April. I think I heard April they're targeting. Is that right? I thought I'd heard this in the media somewhere. But it will happen. It's just a matter of the timing of it. And I think the American people. And you see how even 5 weeks in, we're all saying, let's do more. Everyone's excited about the pace. And I just wish that we could get them in sooner. I really do. I'd like to see these picks just get in. We know they're going to happen, and I wish we could bypass the bureaucratic process and get down to just getting things done. Let's just get them in place.
As a businessman, that's probably going to be one of his biggest frustrations is the slowness of bureaucracy. And I mean, any politician that I've spoken with that has been in business before gets really frustrated by.
You add me to that list. I'm a business guy, got into politics. It is incredibly frustrating when you get into office, and there's so much red tape to getting some simple things done. For me, it was changing the way we do some of the credit card processing down at the state to save money. Unbelievable, multi-year process to do some simple things like that. Whereas in a business, it would happen by the afternoon.
Right.
But when you're dealing with getting a legislature on board and then a governor on board and then all these, there's just a lot of people that have to get on board. And no matter what you try to do, somewhere out there you can find somebody out there that doesn't like it. You can come out and say, we want to make sure every puppy has a good home, and you're going to find some weirdo out there that doesn't like puppies or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's amazing how there's always somebody on the other side of these things that says it's a bad idea, but it'll happen. The agenda will happen, and Donald Trump. If there's anybody that will it to happen, I will tell you that President Trump is the person that will get things done. Anything he puts his mind to gets done.
One of the members of our delegation, of course, is Representative Gosar, who's from this area and represents this area. He's been very supportive of the president and the agenda that the president has put forth. So you've got some friends in Congress.
Paul's been great. I like Paul a lot. He's a really great guy. I run across him. We cross paths once every few months, and I think the world of him. I think he's a great guy.
So, what do you see as far as the next steps for Arizona going forward?
I think for Arizona, just now looking at the midterm elections, looking at down ballot races. All of our statewides are up for election in a year and a half, really, for the primary. All of our Congress people are up for re-election. One of our senators is up for re-election. So it's turning our sights towards that. I mean, the Democrats have identified some weaknesses here and some seats they want to target. And so I think for Republicans here, they're looking to defend those seats. And Democrats are going to be, some national groups are going to be putting a lot of money on the other side of that. And as a state, we still have some things to figure out of our own. I think there's going to be a decent-sized, there could be a decent-sized budget battle here that's brewing down there this year. And I think the sine die with the legislature may come later than we saw in the previous couple of years. And fixing education, we have teachers that are underpaid, and everyone wants to get that done in a budget responsible manner. So we still have our own issues down at the state, but I know that there are a lot of people that want to work through it and get it done, and hopefully we get that done.
One of the big issues, of course, affecting a lot of communities is this PSPRS, the Public Safety Retirement System. Your office has had really great results with some of the investments they've made, and your budget is minuscule compared to the amount of money that they are spending to
Yes.
invest that money with a lower return. Why can't the state treasurer's office do the investments for those accounts?
There's politics, pure and simple politics. And it's sad that taxpayers pay a higher cost because of politics, but they do. And again, I'm a business guy and I'm a finance guy. And absolutely, I could, in very short order, show the state how to save a lot of money, and show PSPRS how to do a lot better. I mean, it can perform a lot better than it is. And I don't want to, personally offend anybody there or anything, but the results could be better and the cost could be lower. And I do go around and I beat that drum as much as I can. I don't have the power to fix it myself. It's outside my purview, and so I try to call attention to it, shine light on it, and I'm hoping the legislature picks that up as one of the things they want to target, and I could help them do that.
Aren't they spending in the hundreds of millions of dollars for the investment firms to invest their money?
Oh, well over $100 million, yes, in external management fees, and if you're spending over, basically 100 times the rate that my office pays to manage investments, if you are getting a much better result, that's one thing. If you're paying more to get more, but when you see that there's a lot of money being spent for a worse result, and it's going year after year like this, eventually you have to sit down and say, we need to reevaluate this and do it different. It's well past time to reevaluate and do this differently, and it would perform better. There are ways that it could perform better for the beneficiaries, and I think that's what's fair. I mean, we have to take politics out of it and do the best thing for the money. I keep saying that. And one of the things that I go around and say is, don't politicize the money. We just need to do the right thing for the money and the right thing for taxpayers, and take politics out of it. And I pound the table on that. I say it so much. I hope people listen at some point.
What is your annual budget in the Treasury Department?
About $3 million. Our annual budget total, but that's not just to manage the investments. That's about just under half of what we do. The other side is the banking. We handle about $31 billion of inflows and outflows a year. In that $3 million budget too. So we have one of the smallest budgets of any agency down there, and yet we do a ton with that. And if you look at PSPRS, they spend more than that, more than my office spends to do the $31 billion just to manage the investments, much more. And but yeah, we have a very dedicated staff. Honestly, part of my job is just going down and begging people never to leave, because a lot of my staff could make a lot more in the private sector, and they're very talented. But we have a dedicated staff that loves serving the state. And I'm very impressed. My office does a good job. So
you're pulled a little bit towards Washington and I assume you still have a role in the proceedings that are there, because I know you're on the transition team. Is that correct?
I don't do much with the transition right now anymore. Early on, there was more to do, but now that everything's kind of settled in and people have their roles, I can't say I do much right now. There's always a gravitational pull there. And it's tough. We love Arizona. My family loves Arizona. My kids love the school they're at. We love the neighborhood we live. We have so many friends, and but obviously there's a gravitational pull, and we think about it from time to time, and where you'd like to be there, helping to drain the swamp in DC too. I mean, I know that I can make an impact. I know that anything I do, I seem to I'm better at some things than a lot of people. And I don't want to say that in an egocentric way, but just with process and fixing broken organizations. I can take an organization and I can make it a lot better and make it a lot more efficient. And seeing the opportunity to do that for our country obviously is enticing to anybody, and especially to me. But again, right now, just my focus is to be a great state treasurer and to be a great dad for the family, and we'll just see what comes.
Well, you had to do that some, even with the campaign. You were saying that your staff compared to Hillary Clinton's campaign staff was minuscule, or at least
right.
A fraction the size, and your budget was limited too.
We spent less than half of what the Hillary campaign spent. We had 1/8 the staff. We did 5 times the number of events, and I think when you look at that, but look at a normal campaign. Look at a Hillary campaign, and not just her campaign. Look at a lot of the establishment Republicans even. And you saw people that spend a lot more money than we did to get a lot less result. And that's because politicians are used to building bureaucracies, and with big staff salaries, with a lot of layers, a lot of red tape. And it's funny because they learn this in Washington. A lot of them have never been in the private sector, never been in the business world. And when they build these organizations, these political organizations, these campaigns, they build them in a bureaucratic way. We had the advantage with the Trump campaign of not only having one of the best businessmen at the top that our country's ever produced, but he brought on people like myself who had little or no political experience, but were business people and very, very smart organizational minds. We had some of the top, I'm telling you, some of the smartest people I've ever met were in that campaign, and we did things a lot more efficiently, a lot cleaner, and a lot better. And that's how you get a lot more for spending a lot less. And isn't that what we want in Washington? I mean, that's I'm so proud to always say that, because I want that to translate to DC now, because that's what we need for our country. It's what taxpayers need, and the talent is there now. Again, if we can just get Congress on board to do things differently and to work at a faster pace, to get things done, and think outside the box.
Okay, what do you want to add?
What's to add? Well, you're great. I always love coming up here, seeing the great work you're doing. It's just a need. You know, it was. I'll tell you like this. It was one of the biggest honors of my life. I'll tell you that. I mean, it was a whirlwind of a year. I got about as little sleep last year as I could humanly stand. Like I was saying, as little as 12 hours a week sometimes was my sleep. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. I mean, it was such an opportunity. I still can't believe that a state treasurer from Arizona wound up in the middle of all that. But it was such a wonderful opportunity, not only to help our country, but to help a great guy get elected and to, hopefully shape the future for our kids. I'm so excited I was there.
So you're going to run for president someday?
That's not. I haven't even figured out if I'm running for re-election as state treasurer right now. So I don't have any plans right now to do so. No.